The 7 money habits that are keeping you poor. I've had several thousand phone conversations with folks just like you about their money. And what I've done is put together the 7 most common reasons that we're stuck financially. In this video, I'm going to cover those 7 habits keeping you poor and give you a path, tips to find freedom financially, to build your wealth, and to create that legacy that you dream about. Number 1, paying yourself last. When you get paid, where does your money go first? Comment in the chat below. I want to get feedback from you, but where does your money go first? That's right, it goes to someone else. It goes to the mortgage guy, it goes to the car people, it goes to the grocery people, to the school people, to the health people, to the retirement savings people. It goes to everyone else first. And then whatever's left over, that's the money that we spend on ourselves, on our families, on the fun, on the magic in our life. And that's exactly backwards. What we need to do is treat our money, treat ourselves better than everyone else. Think about it. The first 2 commandments. The first commandment is what? It's love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And then it's love thy neighbor like thyself. And by loving thy neighbor like thyself, it implies that we must love ourselves after God. God won, then us, then our neighbors. Which means when we get paid, we must pay ourselves first. Now, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's outlined in other books like Richest Man in Babylon. And I'm going to suggest that you pay yourself at least 10% of what you're earning. Now, shoot to pay yourself more, but since Americans are saving 3% of every dollar right now, starting at 10% would already put you that much further ahead than every one of your peers. So we must pay ourselves first. The money, every single time we get paid, we must pay ourselves 10%, set that up automatically so it's not even thought about. As soon as you're paid, have that transferred into your savings account, and then it goes to your expenses, to your fun, and to everything else. The number 2 habit is getting comfortable with debt. Now, I don't know when this happened exactly, but there's been a shift. We used to be a country of savers. We used to be a country where we were putting our money aside and just saving it for that rainy day. But today, we've taken on so much debt. We just crossed this past summer the $1 trillion in consumer credit card debt. 1.13 trillion with a T. That's nuts. That is so much money. And the average percentage that we Americans are paying out to the banks, 22.89%. That means of every dollar of things that we purchase with our credit cards, we're actually paying an extra 23 cents for every dollar we spend. That's crazy. Do you think that if you got a 23% raise that you'd be doing a little bit better? So we must know what's happening in our life right now. And when we go purchase stuff, we shouldn't purchase. Like a rule I have in our family is if we want something but we can't afford it right now, the question becomes, well, how can I afford it? We don't want to keep spending money on credit cards making the banks rich, do we? No. We want to keep that money in our family and help our families grow the wealth that we believe that we deserve. The number 3 habit is not having a rainy day fund. Meaning, now that you've started saving your money, now that you're paying yourself first, you've done the first 2 things, you're not taking on debt unnecessarily, and you're paying yourself. Number 3 is the stacking of the money. So you're going to start stacking the cash that you're saving. Now that you've started saving that money, how much does your rainy day fund need to be? Does it need to be 3 months of your expenses, 6 months? Like, you just have to pick what number is comfortable for yourself. But we want to make sure that we have that money put aside. Some people call it the what if fund, the rainy day fund, or you can reframe it and say, hey, our future fund money, right? However you need to frame that for your family, because it all has to make sense for you. Remember, this is your personal economy. We're just showing you the tips from the people that I've talked to that they're not doing, and how by shifting these small things you can create so much more wealth and freedom. Number 4 is lifestyle inflation. It just means the more money that you make, the more money that you spend. It's Parkinson's law. It's a natural law. And if we can't break Parkinson's law, then we'll never be financially free. It's just knowing that every time that you make more money, it doesn't mean that you need a more expensive car, a more expensive house, a more expensive lifestyle. It's how do you keep your lifestyle where you're happy, where you're comfortable now, and then you work towards that future self. So number 4 is we have to know what is the cost of our lifestyle and keep it there. We don't need to keep up with the Joneses. We don't need to keep up with the neighbors and the other people around us. Because remember, comparison is the thief of all joy. We want to make sure that we're providing the life that we dream of for our family. And if we're not doing it yet, then there is the thinking long term, the being patient that we want to keep in mind. Number 5, not having a goal. This comes up all the time. When I'm on calls and I'm asking people, what is your big, ultimate future? What is that thing that you dream about? So many people can talk about how they want freedom, and they want freedom of time, they want freedom with family, with the people they love. And I believe that's true for all of us, all Americans and all people. We want freedom. And we want freedom of money, of time, and of magic. And if we don't have a big goal, if we don't know what our 10-year vision is, if we don't know what our 3-year plan or our 3-year picture or 1-year plan or our 90-day process, well then how are we going to arrive? Think about a ship. If a ship and a captain leave port and they don't have a destination, will they ever get there? Or will they end up broken down on some beach somewhere? If they know where they're going, 99% of the time or more, right? There's life insurance that takes out on the ship's manifest that they're going to arrive and get there. They know where they're going. They are going to get there. So where are you going in your life? You need a plan. You need that big vision. And just taking a little bit of time. Remember, we are human beings, not human doings. So just taking a little time to sit down with your family and ask them, ask everybody, hey, what would you dream about? Where do you want to go? What do you want to have? What do you want to experience? And you can start making a fun plan. Life should be fun. So having a plan is the 5th one. We need to have a plan. Number 6 is only saving to save. Only saving to save. Now, it's great. I love Sally Saver. I love my Sally Savers out there, right? That are or Sal Saver, who are putting money aside, paying themselves first, following the commandments. But if we're only saving to save, well, then our money's not in motion. Then we're just doing what Dave Ramsey's telling you to do, where he's saying, take your money, put it in a coffee can, and bury it out in the yard, and you'll have more money. Well, Dave, that's ridiculous. Because we have inflation. Inflation, let's average 3% a year, right, year over year. And that is the cost of living associated with how we're making more money. We want to make sure we're following God's law and keeping it in motion. Think about it. If you're moving your body, is your body healthy? Yes. If you're wanting to fish, are you going and fishing from a pond that has stagnant water? Or are you going to a river that's flowing? Where are the fish going to be fresher? In the pond or in the river that's flowing. God's law is motion. So we must keep our money in motion. So once you're saving, once you have that foundation, once you have that rainy day fund, then it's to go out and look for things that you know, like, and understand to invest in, to make a spread on your money. So number 6 is we want to keep our money in motion. And finally, number 7, might have been the first one right now because of the timing, but number 7, pay too much on your taxes. Now this might be the biggest one on your mind right now. I just got off the phone with someone worried about how they're going to pay their payroll taxes as a business. And number 7 is just paying too much. We must understand that the IRS is constantly adding to their 77,000 page pamphlet or book, or I don't know what you want to call a 77,000 page book, but they're constantly adding new ways. So the wealthy understand the little loopholes built into the tax code that keeps them paying the lowest amount that they legally can. Because remember, tax evasion is a lot different from tax avoidance. right? One, you're going to jail. One, you're keeping more of your money. So with number 7, it's really understanding and taking time to understand your business structure, your personal structure, and where do you have some write-offs, and then also where can you put your money that's going to grow tax-free, compounding interest, which is Einstein's 8th wonder of the world. Where are you going to put that money and keep it growing forever and be able to use that money at the same time? So in summary, these are your 7 most common mistakes or habits that are keeping us poor. They're keeping us at the zero line, which is, in Kiyosaki's words, the definition of the rat race. And what do we do to change it? It's easy. Well, it's simple. Maybe it's not easy, but it's simple. We must just interrupt the patterns, and by making these small shifts that I suggested here, you'll be able to live wealthy, to live your legacy, and to leave that guaranteed legacy as well. If you've enjoyed today's video, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring the bell. As my son says, it might just turn blue. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and check out this next video. How can you make money paying your taxes? What? That's right. How can you make money paying your taxes? I will show you a case study, step by step, how you can actually start making a return on investment, a return on your money within a few years. Because remember, we're talking about long-term planning. We're not talking about getting rich fast schemes.